Hi, this is Gary DeVries, and you're watching Connect 4 tutorial on how to avoid early game traps. In this, we're going to cover the two most common early game traps and how to avoid them, as well as how to use them as a counterattack against it. Let's begin. Okay, here's example number one. We're playing as green. Now we're going to have be three moves into it, so it'll be our second move. There's move number one. There's move number two. There's move number three. We're playing as green. Can you spot the trap for green? I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to look it over and see if you can figure it out. Go ahead. Alright, there are basically two moves for green. There's move number one, which I'm going to highlight right here, and there's also move number two, which I'm going to highlight right over there. Those are the two moves green can use in defense against red. If green moves anywhere else, red can win the game in two moves. At this point, you're asking, how is that possible? Well, let's give an example here. Let's say green moves on top. Well, red can go right there in the 3 slot, and okay, green tries to block it. Green can't block it because red can win either way, and red does win, and red wins the game. So you want to try to avoid those kind of traps. Okay, playing as green, what is the best move here? Now you have the option 1, which I showed you earlier, and option 2, the 3 slot or the 6 slot. I prefer the 3 slot, and I'll show you why. As you can see, green is detonated as O. The green lines are single attack lines. The blue are double attack lines, meaning you only need 2 more to get 4 in a row. On defense, it actually has a pretty good defense against X, or the red team, because there's not a lot of moves red can make in this situation. And we'll see the 3 spot right there, which I'm highlighting. That is my preferred move due to the defensive and offensive structures there. Now let's take a look at green's other option of defense, and that is the 6 slot. Right there I've highlighted. Let's take a look at what attack lines you'd have if you did that. Again, green is detonated as O, X is red. The green squares are the possible attack lines for O. On defense, the green lines are the possible attack lines for X, and the blue lines, or the blue boxes, are what we really need to watch out for, because if X moves in one of those blue spots, we have to make a blocking move to counter that, and that is why I prefer moving in the 3 spot, which I highlighted there, because it just gives us better control of the center. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to example number 2. In this example, we're playing as red. There's move number 1 by green, move number 2 by us, and here's move number 3 by green. I want you to look at the board and figure out which moves will block this trap here, and I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to think it over, so go ahead and take a look. Okay, I'm going to highlight the blocking moves as number 1, number 2, and number 3 right over there. Now, if one of those moves, the 1, 2, and 3 moves, are not selected, something bad can happen. Our opponent could beat us in a number of moves, and you're going to ask how. So I'm going to give an example on the bottom right-hand corner. Let's say you select the middle one. Okay, now all green has to do is come back in the 3 spot right there, and it can either win in the 1 or the 5 spot. As you can see, red tries to block in the 5 spot, and green still gets 4 in a row and wins the game. So that's what we want to avoid there. Okay, you're probably asking, what's our best move of the 3 options there? I prefer the 5 slot, which is number 3 below. Why? Well, it provides good defense, and it also gives us a good long-term counter options against anything that green will do. As you can see, in the up-and-coming diagram we have here for offense. Long-term counter options are the 2 yellow spots above any attack lanes X can have. We can, get 3 in a row and possibly win the game later on. Defensively, it provides pretty good defense, as X does not have a lot of attack lines, and we can build on top of the square on 2. We do want to watch out for the 1 or the 3 spot, because we're going to have to block if X goes there. So that's why I like it. Okay, another reason I think the 3 slot is our best move is overlapping attack lines. As you can see with O and the purple, 2 spots overlap there. That's where you get a 2-for-1 special if you place a piece in those squares. If you look at defense here, those are attack lines that X can get a 2-for-1 special if it were to place a piece in those squares, assuming nothing has changed. If you look at the 2 spot that I've highlighted above there, what I like about that is we can build an attack above X. Let's say X gets 3 in a row in the 2 spot. Well, guess what? We can build an attack over that, and then we have a potential chance of making 4 in a row. So that's one of the reasons I like it. It helps us out later in the game. Okay, before I get to my conclusion here, I'd just like to highlight one point, and that point is that those are the 2 basic types of traps we've covered. That was the simplest variation of that. You might also see a variation instead of, say, move 3, you might see it in move 5 or move 7. But those are the 2 most common traps, and you want to try to avoid those if possible, and always pay attention. Otherwise, your opponent can beat you fairly quickly. My conclusion on this is that these type of traps only work against novice players. You do not want to try that against intermediate or better opponents. And you're going to ask why? Well, there's several reasons. First of all, if you do it against a skilled opponent, they're going to recognize it and make the right counter moves. It'll take away your control of the center, and most of the moves in this game go through the center. If you do not control the center, it's going to put you at a huge disadvantage, and it makes it difficult to win. And against a skilled opponent, that's pretty much the end of the game right there, because they're not going to make mistakes. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.